Hi, my name is Ogbonna. I'm running for the mayor of this great city, Calgary, come October 18, 2021. My name is Ogbonna. That's what's going to be on the ballot. But my full names are Chibonna is my first name. Theodore is my middle name. That's where Teddy comes from. And Ogbonna is my last name. I'm a Nigerian immigrant. I started traveling at an early stage in my life when my parents died. I'm the last of 10 in my family, the last of 10 siblings. So 4 boys, 6 girls. And my dad died when I was 6. My mom died when I was 7. So I was basically orphaned at 7 years. So I did immigrate to Canada first time, 2004. I came to speak at the University of Toronto. And when I moved here, I joined a political party that fits my values. And then we were called Progressive Conservatives. So I joined them. I was in the riding of Calgary, my constituency. And then I was participating in meetings, got elected on the board in Calgary, I have always attended every AGM meetings. We have always had that in Red Deer, the Sheraton in Red Deer. And then I've always had an interest in politics. Have always been at the combined council meeting in the city of Calgary every month since I moved to this city until to the pandemic. I stopped. I've always followed them now online. So my political experience did not start here or in Toronto. It has started back in Africa. I have always been behind the scenes, observed things very close and asked questions that shouldn't be asked. Why are things this way? Which I have always felt is not right. I've seen that as a young kid growing up back in Africa. And I grew up after my graduation from a higher national institute in Nigeria. I went into the oil and gas sector, Shell Petroleum in this case, where I did my national youth service and as well had a contract with them as a occupational health and safety officer. And I had another stint with Schlumberger, but on the seismic part of it. So I have a lot of experience as a safety officer, as an auditor on exploration, oil and gas exploration from A to Z of it, mainstream servicing on seismic. I founded an organization called African Youth for Transparency. That's what it used to be called then. And then it grew up because we expanded globally to become Youth for Transparency International. I've always had this ideology that if you want to make, unfortunately, the system is built here that when you make a gift, you need to get a return back. So like if you make political donations, federally, if you give the Liberal Party, for instance, $1 million, you're going to get 50% back of that. So, but I've always seen donation that has to do with charity. Anything charity should be from the heart, a change of heart. And based on my religion, I don't need to expect it. Exactly. Yeah. But it is what it is. It is the law. But my faith, I'm a man of faith and law. When I give, I shouldn't expect to get back. It's from the heart. So I applied that in my organization a lot. And the values that we share as conservatives, pretty much as Republican, where I've come from, traditionally we are Republicans. So fits into my political ideology. And I came in here and I joined the PCs.
So how did you go from orange to blue?
Well, I was not really a card-carrying member of the Orange. I just did an internship.
Oh, so you were just working with the
yeah,
DP?
to experience the municipal government at the city of Toronto. And unfortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, the politician then was the federal president of NDP, Adam Jambrone. And Jack Layton then was the leader of the party. So I did not know then about the structures, programs of political parties in Canada. Just like the Liberal government is doing to censor things that we do. That's what the Bill 10 is all about.
Yeah.
And exactly. Look, we have got Charter of Rights in this great country. All of them. It's like in Calgary here, I've had people, when I'm done knocking, they tell me, what are you doing here? You stop this here, get the hell out. I've had people tell me this at the door. I will just smile. I take nothing personal. I just do not take nothing personal. So we both have mobility rights. That's what this country have given to someone as an immigrant like me that has been assimilated here to have the same rights like you like anyone else. So we should have that space to have respectful conversation and not to begin to or attempt or suggest to look at people as inferior or look at individuals as a different category of being or species. We are all one people and serving this humanity. One thing I do not really like in that text is shutting people up completely. To me, if if you wanna pass a law that is more gender equitable and fair, we should make it across board that do not restrict. If I want to change, for instance, my sexual orientation, do not restrict me from going to seek counseling from a professional. It doesn't matter the sector of that professional. Don't restrict me from doing that. And do not restrict those counseling from counseling. As far as the counseling they are doing is not forceful, is not harmful, then that's where I have a problem. But we are living in an open society. It should be free and fair. So that, for me, I don't like to restrict people from saying what they want to say. I do feel is not. I do think it's not democratic. If they are becoming a little bit rude and not being flowing up with the conversation, you have a right to walk away. Yeah, but don't force things, shove things down the throat of citizens, and vote on it and stamp on it. That's more like living in a communist country. The mayoral powers is not, to be honest with you, is not as much as people may expect. Pretty much the mayor do not have an overriding power as you would see in some other countries, developing countries, where in some other countries it's called countries, in some other countries local government, where you have the local chairman, in this case the mayor, could do anything and get away with it. There is law and order here. The mayor's big role is to advocate and set the agenda at the city council for people to look into issues, what they want to do, what they want to propose or debate or have conversation on across board, and to as well to engage the community and be there for the community, and be part of a conversation to attract developments in this city, developments that make sense. In my own opinion, I would support development that is local and not foreign because of global agenda of communist China and Hong Kong trying to take over the whole world, and it's been happening. I don't want to see that. We have had an experience what is going on in Vancouver. A lot of folks in Vancouver are moving over here, buying houses because they can't afford it anymore here, switching jobs and all that. People are coming here. So Calgary is one of the most, if not the most, it is the most beautiful city in my own opinion in this world. We are living in one of the greatest country on earth. So we should be able to enjoy and bring back or unleash those potentials that we have that has always been there. Calgary has always been the hub of Canadian economy. So my take on municipal, being the mayor of this race, is like you're a captain of a ship, and you have to steer the ship, navigate it so that you don't get it, into turbulent waters, and make sure we stay the course, and as regards to Calgary advantage, and make sure whatever we are doing here is in the interest of the Calgarians first, and not to please any interest group, of course, which is what you see goes on at every level of government, at the municipal level, provincial government. But the most important thing is for the mayor to drive this ship and make sure that Calgarians, we give to them service that they need and they want.
Like what?
Big things in municipal government is it has always been transit. It has always been recycling. The recycling, these are policing. These are big things in government. And of course, developments in different sectors, arts and culture. You've seen different developments in terms of infrastructures and upgrading, the roads, the snow clearing and all that. These are big things you see in municipal government. Citizens want services being delivered to them efficiently, and they want to call the city of Calgary, make sure they get a positive response. We don't want to have someone rude on 311, or you being rude to someone there. So these are very basic things, transit, policing, and of course taxes for supporting small businesses. Over here in Calgary is one thing that I love way too much, and I've been door knocking since I filed my nomination, and most of the times at the doors and meeting groups and talking to small businesses. most of the conversations boils down to what are you going to do about taxes? So you could see that taxes and municipal tax here is a huge thing in this election. It's very huge from homeowners' perspective, commercial, to all the way to small businesses in this city. And for me,
what are you going to do?
well, my vision for the campaign is to reduce taxes. That's the vision of the campaign, to reduce taxes and provide tax incentives. In this case, financial, to be more specific, financial incentives and tax credits to homeowners and small businesses. Reason being that I want them to stay here in Calgary than closing down. We have had a lot of businesses shut down. And I tell you, before this pandemic, let's don't blame the pandemic for the closure. Shut down for so many for reasons that they can't afford to pay their lease, where they've been subleased or their space, and they can't afford to keep up the business anymore. I've owned a business here. Mine is lived experience on that vision. That's why I'm putting it up. So homeowners taxes here, some of them have doubled to double digits. Some have gone 25%, 30%, 40, 45%, some homeowners taxes. Small business have suffered a lot here. Taxes have increased. They are paying double to what they used to pay before since this current administration has been in power. I don't want to name the name of the current mayor because he's not running for politics anymore, so I don't want to talk about him. It's waste of my energy. I've been critical about him, and he knew it, and I wish him well. So, but the point is that we don't need, when you understand from the context, historical context of this city, oil and gas sectors built this city, an entire nation anyways. They have supported the entire country in terms of transferred payments, and you know what I'm talking about, to the federal government, and they get nothing in return back. Politically, the political structures you have got here from municipal to provincial and federal, the West, especially this province, we do not have enough representation. So the question I have asked myself, being a political science major, is what impact are you going to make in Ottawa if we don't have good representation in Parliament? So, and that brings me to things I do always reflect, and I chat this with my friends. For this country to be fair, have a fair deal that is going to include other provinces, especially the western provinces here. And I'm interested in more like Alberta, Calgary advantage, Alberta advantage. We got to restructure. There's going to be a constitutional restructuring about political, seats and numbers, the way it works. Because for now, it's all about Quebec and Ontario. And that's why in election, despite that, the guy we have in Ottawa, to be honest with you, I can't stand him. That's why I don't even want to call his name. I wish he has nothing to lose. I wish he could just, out of dignity and respect, resign from the Liberal politics. He's a spoiled brat. He has nothing to lose, and just get the hell out. And then let us have someone fresh to run for the Liberal Party. I'm not a Liberal Party member. I'm not going to speak for them. But I do believe that the current Prime Minister we have do not understand how local economy works, how to open up the markets and boost the local economy. It's all about spending and spending and having the interest of those who are supporting his government. In this case, some foreigners, foreign countries and other, for instance, China, having their back. Instead of having the back of Canadians and opening up the markets here, the oil and gas to the international market, or negotiating and having consensus building with the U.S. government, the elephant on the other side, why we should open up this market. But he's there doing something different, and I just do not understand. I'm sick and tired of even watching him on TV. When he's been asked the question, he'll pivot into something else. He doesn't want to answer it. And that's his politics as usual. So coming back over here, I do believe that Calgary should have a first shot in all ramifications of government in terms of both our take from the provincial government and as well in the federal government. And that would come when what I call ethnic technocrats will begin to have huge conversations about the advantage that we do as Calgarians to bring in solid investments here. Because in Canada, huge capital investments, unfortunately, relies on government funding. Unlike what you see in some other countries, I've been privileged to travel around the world. I've seen countries, even here in the US, in Texas, where counties raise bonds to build huge capital projects, bridges, call it shovel-ready approaches without relying on government funding. So I can't wait to see this happen here than always relying on government funding every time. So what I'm intending to do here is offer those taxes 10%. 10% is never been done in the city of Calgary. I'm offering 10% fixed for 4 good years. That's what I'm offering. And I have asked, researched, listening to Calgarians, and talk to experts, is going to trickle down. If I put that in agenda and it passes at the city hall, it's going to trickle down. Small businesses at the core of my campaign will start expanding, hiring employees. Businesses, not just small businesses, all the businesses here, even the big multinational corporations that is here, they will all come back to this city when we have our taxes just completely at the minimum level. And that's what conservatives do. We don't like high taxes. We make the money, and we don't like high taxes. We generate revenues, we don't like high taxes. So higher taxes is way out of it. We need to bring our taxes low. What we have now is way through the roof. So and we got to cut it down completely to 10% across board. That's what I'm offering. And then, of course, the negotiation starts with citizens and experts to make sure we attract huge investments here, begin to diversify the economy into science, technology, the entrepreneurial innovations challenge that I have seen it happening at the moment, but we need to do more. And as well, engage the civil societies, private sectors into what we are doing. And not just the Calgary Chamber of Commerce that represents quite a few people that's able to pay their fees. There are other not-for-profit and profit private sectors that we could partner with that is not part of the Calgary Chamber of Commerce. And they have brilliant ideas. They have the capacity to change this city. So and I can't wait to get everyone, so nobody is going to be left behind in this city during my administration. I declared my intent to run October 18 last year on social media, and I filed my nomination after getting my signatures March 17 this year. And since then, once you file nomination, is official, your campaign have started. Hopefully that they don't shut us down again. And so I hope there's going to be debates. I've been doing a lot of Zoom. I've been meeting a lot of people and groups. During these restrictions, we keep distance, we keep to AHS guidelines. I've been door knocking with my mask and everything just to keep to the law, regulations. So I've had conversations, I would call conversations, not really debate, but form of debate, but it's conversation online with other few candidates, hosted by few organizations through Zoom. But I can't wait to get into real mainstream debates. There has been few debates hosted by few media houses, and I was not invited. I don't know if they plan to host more. I hope so. And that's, for me, I thought it was not inclusive. I do feel that if you want to host a debate online as such a huge media house, they have the capacity and the resources to connect everyone and slot the time for each one to pitch in. I do believe it's workable and not just selecting a few, the establishment at the city of Calgary. So the debate has always been the current councillors that are running for mayor for this race. I'm campaigning against all of them. We need a total overhaul. We need a change at the city of Calgary. All the councillors that's been with these current administrations, they all need to get the hell out from our city of Calgary. We need to have fresh council. You must not be very experienced in politics like me. I've been experienced in politics behind the scenes. So I understand how government works. But there are city bureaucrats at the city hall that's going to put an orientation and let you know your left and right on things to do. So there's no big deal in this. Anyone can run for an election if you're eligible to run for an office. It's all about meeting and discuss about issues and agendas and have a position on it and stand by that. That's all it's all about, agenda setting. Put up what we want and let it roll. But behind the scenes, there are a lot of give and take. Let me put it that way, because you may not have it all you want. Well, first of all, we have no budget. The current council have bankrupted the city. We have an operational budget, let me put it that budget running at the moment in deficit of close to $400 and something billion a year. And my argument to citizens is Calgary economic climate is not the same as it was 20, 30 years ago when we were having all this boom, oil boom and all that. We can give it a pass of them having their entitlements, elected officials, and some city officials earning close to $500,000 a year. In as much as the city of Calgary technically is a corporation and we are all stakeholders to it, and that's what empowers each and every one of us to have a voice, someone like me, to speak up on issues I don't think is right. So the path that the city is going is not going to be sustainable at all. So whatever I'm doing is on a long view to have that sustainable path and vision forward. And that's what transformation and purpose is all about in terms of leadership. So, and that's why one of the reasons why I'm bringing in a lot of young folks into my campaign, to let them know that the future of this city belongs to them. They are the foundation of this city. And I'm going to institute a shadow cabinet at the city hall where young folks would have a voice to be part of those local actors to critique and participate in every decision-making process prior to council voting on anything. They will have a voice. So, and it's getting momentum. And they love it. I mean, listen. So what I'm doing different as regards to policing, and I'm being straightforward to this, I've talked to a lot of police officers. I respect them. I value them. First of all is to look at our relationship with citizens, and which the left have, they are very good in changing the narratives, making the police look so bad. It's not, 90% of police officers here are good guys. Have interactions with them. There are very bad apples in the police. Of course, there are 1% that probably is bad apples in the police force. And even in the force, they know it. There are tiny bad apples. And I think it's time for us, in this age of technology, to call them out. And that is why one of the things I'm looking into is to make sure, first of all, for the safety of every police officer and to give them respect, as you walk on the street, you're on duty, you got to have your body cam on. So your body cam is on because citizens now have cameras all over the place. That protects you and protects the citizen that you're talking to. So body cam is very important to protect both parties in their relationship as they chat or in any arrest anyways. So what I'm looking into the policing is because my goal is to overhaul the city of Calgary. And by virtue of them being protecting us, being in the public safety, to serve the community, protect and serve the community, they are city employees. So my current city employees probably will affect them on a different path. In the path that I may probably recommend to freeze hiring for 1 year or 2 years. That depends on the budget that we have. But I'm not going to cut, so that will affect them because we are working on what we have at the moment, and I strongly believe in smart policing. This city is not a police city. I've asked a previous police chief this every time, and I had it on my social media, and I asked the chief, if we hypothetically we hire 1 million police officers this year in the city of Calgary, 1 million police officers. So we are about 1.5 right now in population, right? 1 million police officers, would that cut down or stop crime? His answer is nope. Would that stop addiction? Nope. Would that stop domestic violence? Nope. So I do not believe in numbers, huge numbers, in terms of the way good governance should work and delivering service for the people. I believe in smart, good governance approach to development. So if we can support them, give them the police, give them the resources that they need to do their policing. There's a tactical team. I've been privileged to meet people in that tactical team. They don't really come out much often, but they train every day. Unless there's a huge high-risk event going on, you see them, they have a different uniform. So you get them in to solve those problems. There is more like a military aspect of the police, Calgary police here. But I want to see more of smart policing where if there's an issue, we call the regular police go in, bring in 1 or 2 of those guys to solve that problem, and they go. It costs us so much money to prosecute people here at the city of Calgary, a lot of money. So, and that's why I'm so happy to see a lot of not-for-profit organizations. For instance, the DOPE team. The DOPE team, we prefer to call them up. They go and pick up someone that police wants to arrest. They will talk to the police, we take him around. And I mean, the police will take the DOPE team, for instance, will take that individual who is drunk and acting stupid and take that person to the tank, to the shelter. And what they will deal with that person, from a very compassionate perspective.
Instead of taking them to jail.
Exactly, and costing taxpayers money. Yeah. So that's the one area where, to answer your question, I would not and ever defund the police, but I will cut police hiring. I will freeze hiring for the city of Calgary, and that will affect them. So yeah, so they need to protect us. We need to have a strong police, a strong, vibrant police that is respectful and that's going to respect that and is going to build a more relationship, community relations, balancing traditional and community relations with every Calgarian.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to share with the people?
Well, one of the things that I'm looking forward to do is snow removal. Snow removal is huge in this city. We spend so much money in snow removal here, and it's not being prioritized right place. What's going on here? And I hate to tell you this. Some folks, some communities they are paying contractors, some rich neighborhoods, to clean snows in their neighborhood and community because they can afford it. Some folks couldn't afford it. The immigrant workforce that live probably in the southeast and the northeast here and part of downtown southwest, and northwest as well, this is sprawling. They need to get out. So inner city snow removal is a priority on my platform to make sure we tackle that. And that is going to give huge access. One big thing, though, I'm working on as well in terms of transit is to make sure we have of course, you know about the Green Line project. I'm not a huge fan of the Green Line project because it's a multi-year project that is so much have vested interest in it for the 1%. And it's going to take 10 years or 15 years to accomplish. And I would rather put that money into a shovel-ready approach for here in Calgary to create more jobs, immediate jobs, and expand the BRT, the Rapid Transit Program buses that we have in all the communities running deep south to north. Expand that and provide more handicap access buses for senior citizens so that when they call, you have 5 minutes, the bus is right there. So it's all about, partnership and building a more resilient Calgary strategy that is focusing more efficiencies on economics, environmental and social aspect of that. So despite other things that's probably going to come along, keeping a lot of young folks here, making sure we have a more vibrant city. The city is vibrant, but to make it more vibrant and accessible for young folks to stay here when they graduate, supporting their arts and community, the arts and cultural community here. I'm pretty much very local. I want local artists, local contractors, local developers, even the urban sprawl. As you probably may have seen, I was totally against urban sprawl for so many reasons that I felt foreigners were going to be taking over. It's not sustainable for us. I had a change of heart. Change of heart I have is that I'm advocating for sustainable communities, for sprawling that is sustainable. So in all ramifications that, we're going to be looking at the green energy renewable development, but that has to be taken care of by local developers. We have everything here. We've got everything here. So we don't need people from communist China or Hong Kong or somewhere coming here behind the scenes, buying off our communities and creating that space for us to have a little bit of conflict in population densities. And that's what I would want to see.